that my name is Gal and I'm Jewish, and we have had enough of Jew hatred.
Gadot has finally had enough, and the public may finally witness the live action of Rachel Zegler's dirty laundry. Everyone is talking about the drama behind the scenes, and boy, it's giving full soap opera energy. Gadot was having some serious problems with her co-star, but you never know what really set everything off, believe it or not. It was a single Instagram post on March 21st, 2025. Snow White is out, but nobody is talking about the storybook magic or the evil queen's cheekbones. Rachel shared a passionate, introspective, and behind-the-scenes tribute post on her Instagram to commemorate the release of Snow White. Hugs, smiles, and thanks to all the wonderful people she worked with. She even referred to the movie as life-changing and said that she had changed so much in the 4 years she spent on set that she was able to go from being a newcomer to a red carpet regular. However, while everyone was happy to be a part of her charming nostalgia, fans began to notice one very clear thing missing. Where on earth was Gadot?
Very grateful, we're great, we're exhausted.
Yeah, you are.
It's messy
what are the
and
age
loud.
ranges?
For someone who played the movie's iconic evil queen and literally shared top-billing Gal, she was not tagged or named, and Rachel didn't even have a throwback selfie with her. Suddenly, fans weren't discussing the costumes or the cinematography. Instead, they were analyzing this social media. If you thought this was just a forgotten tag, hold on tight because the rabbit hole gets a lot of messier theories. At the top of the list was politics, which revealed that Rachel and Gal are not even close to being on the same page when it comes to the Israel-Palestine conflict. Rachel, who is Israeli, has long supported Israel publicly, while Rachel has expressed her support for Palestine without whispering it either.
Zegler also faced blowback after posting Free Palestine. Gadot is from Israel and served in the Israeli army.
During filming, she supposedly started a storm with her tweet about Free Palestine, and it wasn't the kind that went by peacefully.
Would see people not condemning Hamas, but celebrating, justifying, and cheering on a massacre of Jews.
There were allegations that the set became tense and that we were only there to work. Let's discuss their lives off camera. The vibe may have been more about survival than solidarity, but I'm not the only thing separating these two. This 39-year-old mother of 4, who has been married since 2008, exudes family-first energy in her red carpet attire.
13, almost 8, 3.5 and 1, just in one.
That's a lot.
So we experience every hormone.
Rachel, on the other hand, is 23 years old, just entering the spotlight, and she's still learning how to juggle award shows with apartment searching.
What would you say to those who are just kind of overly critiquing the film at this point? You've worked so hard on it.
These women are literally living in 2 different universes, and occasionally that gap can feel like a canyon. You won't find them exchanging skincare advice in a trailer, at least not without a layer of polite awkwardness hanging in the air. But here's where it gets even more interesting. Despite all the hype and whispers, the 2 actresses appeared together for the film's major Los Angeles premiere on March 15, 2025, and yes, they posted side by side for the cameras. But the fans saw that everything was tight laughing, their body language was rigid, and the sparkle in their eyes was clearly not excited. It was like watching 2 co-workers at an office party acting like best friends for HR. Sure, they were professional, but not particularly friendly toward one another, and suddenly every red carpet photo became a clue in the ongoing mystery of whether Rachel and the gal actually detested working together. In interviews, Rachel attempted to shift the topic by discussing how women in Hollywood are constantly pitted against one another and how crucial it is to support fellow actors. However, she never actually mentioned Gal, so fans immediately began to interpret her comments as if they were a riddle. Was she throwing shade while acting as though she didn't? Or was she attempting to convey that there was nothing to see here, while Loki confirmed that there was unquestionably something to see?
She's talented, she's attractive, she's got skill, but there are a lot of actresses in Hollywood who bring all that to the table and are not going to absolutely sabotage your work.
Let's now discuss how all of this actually affected Disney. Here's a hint. Things are not going well for those people. You would think they would be enjoying another huge box office success, but instead they were forced to deal with the fallout from all of the drama that was making headlines. The studio reportedly trimmed back the premiere. There was no huge press junket or glittering red carpet extravaganza, just a subtle rollout that seemed to be intended to avoid too many questions. But everyone did add Rachel gal tension, and all of a sudden Disney had a PR crisis greater than anything they could have handled. But it doesn't stop there, because Disney has also been dealing with significant backlash regarding their casting decisions on top of everything else.
Every young person dreams about a phone call like that. I've been lucky to have a few of those in my life, but this one is certainly extra special as a huge Disney fan.
The casting crew may have been thrilled when Disney announced in June 2021 that Rachel Zegler would be our new Snow White, and at first glance, it sounded fantastic. She is young, incredibly talented, and her voice is practically born for musicals. Director Mark Webb couldn't stop gushing about her vocal abilities, calling them just the beginning of her gifts. He said she brought strength, intelligence, optimism, and pretty much everything you'd want from a modern princess.
The reason Snow White is called Snow White in this version of the film, because of course she is not white as snow, is because she and her family go through a snowstorm and survive the snowstorm, and so it's a mark of her resilience. That's why she's called Snow White.
When Rachel, who is of Colombian and Polish descent, was cast in the role, it caused a lot of eyebrows to go up, and everyone from movie critics to political commentators had something to say, because Snow White, as the name not so subtly suggests, has always been described as having skin as white as snow. In fact, it's literally the first thing people point to when discussing the character.
It's the most emotional experience that a person can go through, to know that what they're working on is something that has reached a generation of people.
Ben Shapiro jumped in with all guns blazing, insisting that casting a Latina actress as Snow White was deviating too much from the story's original identity. While all of this was going on, Rachel didn't hide. She spoke up and didn't just defend herself. Some people were thrilled that they were finally a Latina Disney princess, but others, particularly on the conservative side, weren't having it. When is the last time you saw a Latina actress cast as a character who has historically been portrayed as the palest person in the room? She applauded the casting, saying she was delighted, honored, and even a bit surprised that this chance came her way.
I just mean that it's no longer 1937, and we absolutely wrote a Snow White that is
not going to be saved by the prince.
She's not going to be saved by the prince, and she's not going to be dreaming about true love. She's dreaming about becoming the leader she knows she can be.
It's a twist that she was named after surviving a real snowfall as a baby, a near-death experience rather than a beauty attribute. According to Rachel, this iteration of Snow White is all about resiliency. It's not about being the most beautiful of them all. Rather, it's about strength, survival, and self-worth. One of her quotations essentially captures it. One of our film's main messages for any young woman or person is to remember your own strength and act accordingly. A story that dates back to the 1800s was given a 21st century makeover, but not everyone supported this evolution. Critics claimed that the story was stripped of its origins and that Disney was going too far to be woke. While some viewed the casting as a sign of advancement, others thought it was needless manipulation, and Rachel was just trying to smile and do her job in the midst of it all. Meanwhile, movie historians and insiders began contributing more broad perspectives during the firestorm. Leonard Moulton, for example, made a compelling argument when he claimed that fairy tales have always changed along with society, and that if variety allows more individuals to identify with those stories, then so do those stories.
What's the harm in that?
This whole incident revealed everyone's anxieties, not just Hollywood's growing pains. Disney, by placing Rachel's lure in that iconic dress, was obviously choosing aid in the current cultural tug-of-war between upholding tradition and advocating for representation. However, here's the thing. While this casting choice may have angered critics, it also gave Disney a huge platform to rethink how stories are told. Consider how many times we've seen the same pale-faced princess stories over and over again. Whether you liked it or not, this was an opportunity to change the course of events and got people talking.